Hi beautiful souls, welcome back to the channel, Beautiful Awakening with Shantia. Welcome to another pick a card reading with me. In today's reading, we're going to be looking into what is your calling. So I've done readings like this before on similar topics. I think it's been a while since I've done a reading where I've actually used the word calling. So I thought, why not bring it back? I was feeling it. So that's what we're going to be tapping into for this reading. If you haven't already, on my other channel, Soul Awakening with Shantia, I just uploaded a video talking about Jupiter in Purnavastu transit. This is a 10-month transit that started in August and is continuing until June of next year. So mid-June of next year is when that transit is happening, and so I decided to talk about it because it's a long transit where we're going to be experiencing those reoccurring themes. And then I'm going to be doing an extension part of the podcast, where I'm going to be discussing the topic in mind, which was like psychology, motherhood, nurturance, nourishment, and how that influences us to like whatever we experience in our child, whatever trauma we experienced, our painful patterns, how that transpires into adulthood. And I've been watching a lot of interesting shows. So we all have something that we're carrying from childhood, and we're here to learn how to overcome those patterns. That's part of the future part of our existence, is to overcome those patterns. So if you're interested in that topic, then definitely check that out. Check out the Purnavastu video, but then also check out the part 2 that I will be uploading soon about that. All right, let's just go ahead and dive into introducing the groups. So for this reading, it's really cool. I went ahead and I did meditation off of the screen to get some notes for each group. And then I also pulled cards. So this is for my nakshatra cards here. And I pulled crystals, and all of this helped me to collaborate with creating the oracle card designs for each of the groups. So group number 1, you have the uprooter. Group number 2, you have the agent. And group number 3, you have the architect. Let's go ahead and start your meditation. Here is your singing bow. All right, group number 1, if you chose the uprooter, we're gonna go ahead and start with you. Hey, group number 1, welcome to your reading. So you guys chose the uprooter. I'm gonna go ahead and share my notes with you, and then after that, we're gonna go ahead and pull some cards. Let's just go ahead and reveal what card you guys got for your reading. So you guys got, looks like the 2 of Wands here, and then when we flip it over, you guys got the nakshatra Mula nakshatra. So Mula is connected to the root, and therefore we have the uprooter. So when I was meditating, the first thing I actually saw was a really bright energy. So it was funny because I got bright energy for another group, and I was like, oh. So even this candle is super bright. The last time it was burning for the last reading, it was bright, but this one's brighter. And then even the reading before that, it was super light. So I think this is powerful confirmation to show you what is your calling. So a part of your calling, group number one, with you being Mula Nakshatra, is for you to be a light in this world. So you are here to be a light worker, which means you have a strong sense of self. You have a sense of direction for you, where you want to go in life. Mula Nakshatra is in Sagittarius. It's the first nakshatra, and it's actually ruled by Ketu. So a lot of your life is marked by dissolution. So that means you're here to dissolve a lot of the illusions that are in the way. But the cool thing about Mula is, I think that a lot of people don't talk about, is that the upside of it is that when you let the illusions fall away, you actually get to be an inspiration in this world to a lot of people. So there are a lot of movie stars and people who go and do a lot of materialistic things with this nakshatra. They go on to create a lot of ambitious success with this nakshatra. I think, who's the one who played Hermione from Harry Potter? She has it. I'm blanking out for some reason. Emma Watson. Dwayne Johnson has it. There's a lot of well-known people who have this nakshatra who are able to achieve success, to be inspiring. I think Hugo Weaving has this. He actually has this Jupiter there with K2, which is really cool. So he has a very powerful connection to this energy. Oh, not with K2. Sorry, it's in Mula. Jupiter, Mula. It's conjunct Saturn. But he has a really powerful ability to dissolve certain things in his life as well, and that's part of his lessons. But yeah, like Mula can be difficult in a sense because it's wherever it's at, if you have it in your chart, you're gonna have to dissolve some things. So you can look at your chart, your Vedic birth chart, and see where it lands, even if you don't have a planet there, and see what house it's in, because that can maybe tell you about the flavor of how this can show up in your life. So what I was seeing in my vision is I saw a star, actually, and I saw it spraying light. So I was like, okay, this group is here to definitely be a light worker. And you got Mula in Sagittarius, fire sign, energy, and Ketu's also fire as well. So you have a strong fiery will to overcome certain things. But this also means that you have a fiery will to dissolve things, which means that this is like the non-BS nakshatra. It doesn't like BS. It doesn't like it when people are, when certain things, when it wants to get to the truth, this nakshatra doesn't play any games. It doesn't like superficiality. Depending on, you know, the evolution of the soul. If the soul isn't as evolved, it can be more materialistic. So these people can be very inspiring in their fields of work. They can make great teachers and, you know, no BS teachers and in terms of the standards that they hold for themselves. But on a higher evolved level, this person learns how to dissolve their trauma, all of it. You know, for this nakshatra, you're essentially called to dissolve all of your trauma, see past the illusions, and see what you are, which is a light in this world. So you're here to spread positivity into this world. You're here to be somewhat of a synchronized cheerleader, which, you know, as funny as that sounds, yeah. You're here to be a synchronized cheerleader in this world, which means that when you're rising with the light, you're coming with the whole army of divine with you. You're not alone in your mission to share this light in this world. And if you're feeling alone in this world, then that means your Mula energy is still operating, is still learning itself until it matures. Sorry guys, I gave you guys the wrong crystal. Apologize for that. So you guys actually have the pink agate, which is even cooler because this is a very creative crystal. So with that, let me just add this in. I think you guys are actually here to be quite creative. Very, very creative, and Mula is very creative because K2 is like this past life creativity. So a lot of your past life inspirational pursuits comes from like a past life experience or almost like a spiritual deep essence. Like you don't even know where this creativity is coming from. Mula is also the galactic center. So you're pulling a lot of your inspiration from like the center of the universe. It's quite mystical in the way that it shows up. You might just find that you know things. Mula is also very good at pattern recognition and karma pattern recognition. So you guys would make good researchers, truth tellers, and mystics. This is definitely a mystical nakshatra. Makes great mystics. So here in the image, we have a plant, because I was actually seeing someone planting, and I was like, oh, I mean, I didn't figure out what nakshatra it was, but I was seeing planting and roots, and I was like, oh, mula. So it was about uprooting. So not only are you here to pull up the roots, like the bitter roots of life, so the bitter roots would be like family karma stuff, the bitter roots. When you uproot it, you see at the core what created these traumatic, karmic patterns in your lineage, and you're able to kind of dig and like uproot it and get rid of it. So once you find that root, it's essentially dissolved and you're actually able to plant new seeds. So mula is also, in my opinion, it's also about planting those pure divine seeds that lead us towards a life of truth and peace. There's also connection to abundance. So this is a very abundant nakshatra as well. You're always going to feel a connection to abundant. You're always going to feel abundant. It's connected to Jupiter. So first ruled by Ketu, next ruled by Jupiter. So that means that some of the abundance that you'll be able to experience in this lifetime will be like almost like past life deeds. So it's like things that you've done that have accumulated to where you're at now. And you'll find that you'll be lucky, right? Jupiter, Sagittarian energy is that energy of lucky. You'll be lucky because not out of nowhere, it's because you aligned with certain circumstances in the past that created the abundance that you'll be able to experience in the future. And the more you do your inner work with this nakshatra, the more abundance will show up for you, just like randomly, on time, incredibly. The more you avoid with this nakshatra, the more you avoid your inner work, the harder it is to tap into your abundance, and you won't feel abundant. Because this nakshatra is saying, dig deep, find your karmic patterns, dissolve what's not real to get to what is. And then you are able to reap the fruits of your labor. So very abundant nakshatra. I was also getting in the crystal like clean water. I was seeing clean water. So this takes me to like purification. This is a very good cleansing nakshatra, which is why it's able to maintain optimism and youth throughout life, is because it's always cleansing. And this nakshatra, throughout your entire life, you're going to be cleansing constantly. It's like cleaning rice water. If you ever clean rice water when you're making rice, you're just constantly cleaning it to get the water cleaner and cleaner and cleaner and cleaner, so that rice comes out like really not so starchy, very delicious, and just like a clean rice flavor. So clean earth, you're also here to bring that clean earth and new earth to the world. So you're here to help purify the earth in a sense. And you can also do this through your body, through what you eat. So Mula is also connected to, I was feeling a connection to the soul, but Mula is also connected to herbs. So if you feel some sort of connection to herbs, you might want to work with herbs. But other than that, research, truth-telling, and mystic, this is what is strongly connected with this nakshatra, as well as just infinite creativity because of that Ketu influence and that Jupiterian influence. So when it comes to your creative inspiration, this has to be in pursuit of something that you're inspired to pursue. If it doesn't inspire you, I would say definitely don't do it. Because you have to be inspired for this nakshatra to activate the fruits of your labor. Which, speaking of labor, when we look at this oracle card design, we get this young lady looking like Jessica Alba with the dark hair. She looks like Jessica. It was funny because I was trying to assign actress to each one, not on purpose. Like, they kind of just ended up looking like actresses. But yeah, this kind of looks like Jessica Alba, and I think she has actually Aries in her chart. I don't know what else she has in her chart, but she's essentially like a pioneer in the sense that she created her Honest brand. So her brand is called Honest at Target, where she sells like products for babies and clean products. So, oh my goodness, things like that happen to me all the time. It's really weird. But yeah, she created a clean brand. So whatever you create, you might want to create a clean brand. It could come to anything like food, things that people consume, clothing, whatever it is. There's going to be a mission to make it clean, purify it in some way, shape, or form, and to plant good seeds. So if you look around her, what's interesting, for this group, I went through like 50 different images before I was able to find the right one, because they're all looking weird and doing weird things and the lighting wasn't right. But in this one, it almost looks like she's in the midst of a cornfield and the stalks are super tall. But let's just say it's better than corn. Or maybe it's bamboo. So bamboo, before it grows, it has to create this really intricate structure underneath the ground first, so that all the bamboos connect, and that neural connection has to be established first, and then the roots shoot through. So there's going to be a distinctive point of abundance for your life, group number one, where, you know, it might feel like you're not experiencing a lot of the growth at first, and then it's going to sort of skyrocket, because the precursor to you experiencing the fruits of your labor is the cleansing work. And sometimes people think, oh, I'm so delayed in life, and I'm like, this group, you are not delayed. Believe me, you are going to shock yourself at what you're able to create once you really face the karma and you dissolve it. You're going to be like, you're going to feel as though you're on top of a mountain, as if there's nothing you can't do, because you're going to see proof of it everywhere you look. But right now, definitely appreciate what you have. It looks like, just from what I'm picking up in this image, you already planted the seeds and things are already growing, and there's still some uprooting that's happening, to the point where it actually looks like you could probably help other people with this and create something with it, because there's already produce. So proliferate, group number one, proliferate. Okay, really cool. I love that you guys got that, and you guys got the pink creative artistic agates. So I'm just going to pull some cards and I'll see whatever wants to come through for you guys. Okay, we got the Tower. That's really intense. We have the Ace of Cups. And we have Six of Pentacles. Nice. Yeah. Interesting. You know, I know the Tower card is often associated with quick changes like Mars, but it always gives me Plutonian and Scorpionic energy. Like Mars and Scorpio. That's what I feel like the Tower is. Or Pluto and Scorpio versus just Mars. So extremely transformative. So your calling is to be deeply transformative, where you're kind of experiencing sudden transformations all the time. Quite intense. The thing is, though, you're going to grow into mastering this, and you're going to grow into being very comfortable with this part of your life. With this Ace of Cups, there's a constant renewal that's happening. That's your calling, is to just constantly renew and feel closer and connected to your heart. I was seeing the clear water in the crystal, and we have the Ace of Cups. So there's like that cleansing of the water that's constantly happening. And as you're cleansing this water, you're feeling clearly. So a lot of the times people move forward with impulsive emotions, and their emotions are very clouded. Their emotions are very murky. It's just full of like a lot of trauma, karma, dirt, all kind of things, and chemicals are mixed into that ocean inside of us. And so without the purification process and the cleansing that's happening, we just can't feel clearly, and then we can't really see things clearly. So a lot of, you know, if you feel like you've gone through a lot of emotional ups and downs in life, that's because a part of the lesson was to go to this transformation and constantly uprooting and constantly cleansing that water, so it's to feel clearly. And the cup also with the bird is connected to truth, right? So you're here to be a truth teller, truth speaker, feel the truth, see the truth, experience the truth. With the Six of Pentacles here, we have this energy of generosity and abundance. You know, we're connecting to in the Oracle card design, and with this Mula Nakshatra and its connection to Jupiter. So you're here to experience a continuous flow of abundance and resources that's just always showing up. And then you're sharing those resources too. You're part of this circle of life. You know, you receive the generosity of the universe, and then you offer it back to other people. Okay. So I see like someone who's a humanitarian, who's giving back to others. That's what I also see. This energy is giving me counselor here with the cups and the tarot card. Someone who counsels people through trauma and painful experiences. Someone who helps people who feel really lost in life. Look at that. We have the seer. See beyond the current situation. So you're a seer. So that means that you get visions, insights. Mula Nakshatra, with that Jupiterian energy and that fire energy, is connected to being a visionary. So you're a visionary. You're able to see beyond the current situation, which means you're able to see the patterns, and you're able to see that time is not linear, but is circular. So every moment exists, which means that you're able to tune into the past and the future and the present moment all at the same time. This is part of your ability. Yeah. So Mula Nakshatra is also connected to the element of ether. So we have here, it's transformative raw energy. It's connected to the male dog. It's about spiritual pruning. It's detached, intuitive, and there's also that bitterness, right, of the bitter roots. Roots are usually, root vegetables or roots in general can be quite bitter. If you ever tasted ginseng, I've never tasted ginseng, but from what I've watched in the Korean dramas, it's bitter. But it's a cleanser, it's purified, it helps to clean the blood and, your body. So that's what you are to other people in this world, is you're able to be detached. So that's going to be important throughout life, is to learn how to be continuously detached, and not be so overly sentimental. Sometimes people can be very sentimental about things, but you're actually here to be detached, and just focus on the mission at hand. So also fortune teller, you can do anything with astrology, tarot, anything with helping people to tune into the timeless essence of life. We have here fixed, stability, persistence, loyal, and dependability. So, that definitely connects me back to the Six of Pentacles as well. You're here to be a stable force, persistent, loyal, and dependable. That is you. So the devolved understanding, or the devolved definition of Mula is that it has this sort of chaotic energy, and Mula is a creative chaos energy. But the way that if you evolve Mula and you face your karma, then it becomes creative chaos that you harness. So it doesn't hurt you. You actually learn how to harness it, and master it. So you're here to master that creative chaos energy, and you're actually going to become quite stable. See with the tarot card? So when all the illusions keep falling away, you just actually become more stable, because your stability and your foundation is rooted in truth. We have here the vow. Beautiful. So it looks like you have a soul contract here, a dharmic contract that you're strongly connected to. That's connected to, we have the bird here, truth, freedom, seeing things from a higher perspective. So you're a seer, you see things from a higher perspective, you see the bigger picture of how things work. You're a visionary. And you have a vow here, and you made a vow to come here to be a light worker, to help people, to assist them in any way, shape, or form. We have different hands gathered together. So you're in this vow with endless beings around you, supporting you on this mission to reveal this truth. Yeah, so you're like, you're like a hawk, you're an eagle, you have that sense of leadership and honor within you, and you're going to move through life sort of on a solo journey, or understanding you have a deeper inner solo journey that's unfolding. And as long as you stay aligned with that mission you feel connected to, everything, things are just always going to feel so expansive and inspirational in life. Well, there you go. Visionary. Capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others. Willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. The shadow attribute is selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. Okay, so we're going to close out the reading with this message here. You're clearly a visionary. The beautiful part about being a visionary is this really requires you to tune in to that inner voice inside of you and to listen to what it's saying without any obstructions. So regardless of what a reader is saying, your mom, your dad, grandma, regardless of what the world is saying, you cannot listen. You have to listen to that, your heart, listen to your inner voice and see where that is guiding you, because you hold and you have the vision. With that connection to Moola, this is something you've done before in your past life. Like it's like riding a bike. You know, it comes quite naturally for you to be a visionary in life. And to just follow that. So long as you follow your vision, you're just going to land where you need to every single time. And it's almost going to be like not quite being human in a sense, because you're not going to have the same, like, problems are going to melt away for you. Because I've looked a lot into Moola. I have this in my chart too. And I can't wait to do a deep dive on this nakshatra one day. But I think there's a lot of misconceptions about it, because people think that it's just about dissolving illusions, which it is, which is great. But sometimes people add a chaotic element to this. So they're like, oh, things are going to be taken away in your life. No, that's not necessarily how Moola needs to work. Now we're kind of evolving past that. The taken away, the delusion, things only feel like they're taken away from us when we don't want to let it go. So Moola is not here to take away things from you. It's here to dissolve. So whatever goes away, you didn't need it. And it was temporary. So what I would say is learn to enjoy the present moment with this nakshatra. Embrace the present moment. And let things dissolve. Don't hold on to them, because you're going to feel free. That's what this nakshatra is about. It's about freedom, like the bird. I'm like a bird. I want to fly away. Because your home is everything. It's the whole universe. So it doesn't matter. Things are just always going to flow for you. Let me just say it like that. So the shadow attribute, this is the warning message here. Selling insights to the highest bidder. Selling insights to the highest bidder. So if you work in terms of trying to profit from this nakshatra, using your creative intuitive gifts to make lots of money, to become successful, it will work against you. In fact, your vision will start to get very warped, and it will no longer be divinely blessed. Like, it'll start to be very warped. You can always reactivate it at any point in time, but this nakshatra is like a gift from previous lifetimes that you've already put into yourself. And if we waste those gifts on external things and validation and money, it just it warps it to the point where you won't even understand your gift anymore. You'll be getting visions and you're like, well, what the heck is, the visions won't be aligned with divine anymore. So they won't be divine visions anymore, and they won't even be visions from divine. Visions from divine are gifts. They're gifts to be cherished. The second warning we have here is compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. Yeah, so this also comes with Moola, is learning how to become comfortable with telling people the truth. Direct, honest, and not trying to warp the message so they like it and enjoy it. I personally, I've been on the fence about doing readings. I tried doing like tarot readings, but I'm on the fence for doing any kind of reading, even though I like reading people's charts, because people usually ask for the things that my gift isn't made for. It's not made to tell people about marriage and if they're going to get rich. My gifts are here to help people wake up, to liberate themselves. So that's why I choose the topics, because I'm like, this is all I can do for you, is just teach you what I know. So I don't know if I would want to do readings, because I know the way that readings have worked, the matrix has taken over readings. They're not really divinely people don't go to them because usually people go to them because they want to know about themselves. And I, including myself, I went to readings at first because I'm like, okay, well, how do I be like everybody else? And then once I stopped doing that and I started following my inner voice and honing in on that inner vision, I didn't need to ask people for what I needed to do. I just sort of figured it out. And I realized there was nobody who could tell me how to live my life. So that's why I always tell people, learn about yourself. If anything, I hope I'm reactivating you, exciting you, inspiring you to go back to yourself and to follow your truth. Definitely. So don't compromise your vision for nobody. I already said this, to make it more acceptable. Just do the thing. At this point in time in my life, like the idea or the concept of crazy is totally diminished because I've been proven wrong. I followed the vision that Source gave to me and I've been proven wrong. So if my false fears totally shattered, at this point, I'm like, anything can happen. So I'm fully on board with it, but it takes little bits and bits of restraint and discipline, because inside of me I still have that inner impulse to want to be like everybody else, and I really try to get back on track as much as possible. At this point, it's almost like like a drug. It's like, oh, it tastes like sugar, eating sugar. Oh, it tastes good. And then if you stay away from it long enough, you're like, oh, I can go without sugar. This isn't hard. That's how I feel about my relationship with divine. It's like when I give up the validation and external things in exchange for the truth and coming in and listening to my inner voice, I actually realize I get to experience the peace I've so desired. So now I'm not seeking peace. I'm just literally just experiencing life while having fun learning what I am and what I've always known I am. Okay. Oh, we'll go ahead and close out with the Astro dice. I usually roll that. Neptune, Pisces. Sorry, not Pisces, 12th house in the Gemini. Beautiful. So again, we're connected to that Jupiterian energy. Mula is the opposite of, it's in Sagittarius, so it's the opposite of Gemini. So it does have communicative abilities, and it's really good at communicating that higher knowledge. But we have here transcendence and moksha. Then we have here patterns, thought patterns with Gemini. So you're here to transcend those thought patterns. You're also here to get inspirational, transcending, creative ideas, intuitive ideas. Neptune is a creative genius, and definitely in Gemini in the 12th house, it's very, very creative, connected to, honestly, a very rich inner world that doesn't end. So this is fun. Yeah, I definitely say for this, the advice is to cherish those moments of quiet and isolation or solitude that the universe gives to you, and use that as an opportunity to continue to transcend those illusions. And this is so liberating and freeing. It feels so peaceful, this energy. And it feels like totally unlocking your mind and no longer feeling this, the weight of the world. This feels so light. Light as air. And this is the ether element, the 12th house. So you have an infinite connection to source. Journal, write your ideas down, talk out loud, think out loud if you need to, walk and talk if you need to. This is how you're going to tune into those messages you are constantly receiving. Group number 1. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like, subscribe to support. I will see you next time. Bye. Hey, group number 2, welcome to your reading. So you guys chose the agent. Secret agent. I wish I had a song. There's a song I think we played in band, something like the Secret Agent Man or something. I don't know. Something like that coming through. So for your guys' Oracle card design, I have my notes I will share with you, and we will also talk about, we're going to reveal the nakshatra that got chosen. We'll talk about the Oracle card, and then we'll go ahead and pull some cards. Okay. So the nakshatra card you guys got here is Kritika. Really cool. And especially cool because look at how active that fire is, practically dancing for you. Say hi. That's the vine waving at you. Hey girl, hey boy, how you doing? So Kritika is in 26 degrees 40 minutes Aries to 10 degrees Taurus. So Kritika is connected to the cutters. The other way I like to remember Kritika is that it's very critical of, it uses a lot of critical thinking. So the positive upside of Kritika is critical thinking. So it's thinking about things, it's sifting through things, it's cutting away falsehoods. The downside to it is that it can be overly critical at times. So if it's especially bitter and devolved, it's going to criticize everybody in the world and say everything's wrong with the world and I'm okay and what's wrong with people. But the better use of Kritika is to cut away at the falsehoods of life that are no longer useful to you. So the first thing I was seeing for your group is I was seeing a seat. So there was something about stability coming through, and Kritika is in Taurus. You guys also have Queen of Pentacles here. So Queen of Pentacles is also connected to stability. So you are here to be a stable force in this world. That means that no matter what, nothing can rock you from your truth. You are here to be stable and strong and like a rock. So nothing will ever rock you from your sense of self. You know, nothing will ever distract you in life. So that was the first thing that was coming through. The other thing was I actually saw Yan Hyo-ju. So that's why this oracle card design kind of looks like her. So she played a secret agent in this Korean drama on Disney Plus or Hulu? I think it's Disney Plus, called Moving. So in this Korean drama, she has super sensory abilities. So all of her human sensories are super sharp. So she can hear very strong, see very strongly, she can notice certain things. But I interpreted this as a multi-sensory connection. So you have a strong connection to your multi-sensory abilities. You have the ability to connect to things beyond just your five senses. So it may be in a spiritual sense, you could say maybe we have 100 senses for all we know. I don't know. I'm not really sure how it works. But we like to simplify and interpret it as intuition. Intuition or crown chakra, third eye chakra. It's a very strong multi-sensory ability to connect with divine and the thing that we cannot see in this world. So you are here to be a secret agent of change. You're here to be a secret agent of change, which means you've probably done this before in your past lifetimes, which means you have a strong sense of a mission, a duty to create, pioneer, and be a part of something magical in this world. So a strong sense of a mission, but you are a part of a divine mission, so don't worry about signing up for any groups, okay? You're here to be independent, and you're already signed up with divine. Before you even incarnated into your body, you were signed up, ready for this role. So you are definitely ready to take on a role of being a light bringer, change maker in this world. Yes, and also you're here to help with fighting for the light. So with this crystal here, this is my black and white agate. I also like to call it the well because it kind of looks like a well. But this one's about purification. The first thing I was actually seeing was an alien. So if you guys have ever seen Alien versus Predator, yeah, this crystal was reminding me of the alien from Alien versus Predator, or Alien Earth is a new FX show that came out, and the alien's really creepy. It doesn't have any eyes, and it's really brutal. That alien is very destructive, and all it does is just kill. It just kills. Yep, it will just kill whatever, however, whoever. And it's kind of sad because a lot of the shows, when it involves killing, it's just a lot of senseless killing where people are just dying left and right for no reason. I'm like, what's the point of all of these people dying? There is no point. You know, in those shows, they show you that people just die for nothing. And the thing is, that's just fear. So you, group number 2, are here to help people overcome that fear of thinking that death, fear is knocking at their door. Instead, you help people to focus on the light here. So if you've ever seen Shadow and Bone, there's like the shadow, the sun. You're the sun. You're the light. Kritika is fire. It's a transformative fire, like the transformative energy that's used in cooking. When you cut it, you cut it, you fillet it, you fry it, you sear it, you barbecue it. That's what Kritika is. It transforms the food through these quick, intense experiences, like a chef, right? So it's very razor sharp. So in The Secret Agent, Han Hyo-ju, her senses are sharp. So you guys have very sharp, intuitive senses for when you know something is right or when it's wrong. So you have a strong sense of right and wrong. And this is what your calling is to know a strong sense of right and wrong and to follow your conscience, to see where it's guiding you here. The other thing I was seeing in it, I was seeing the Temple from the White Lotus season 3. So if you ever heard of the show The White Lotus on HBO, in season 3 it was shot, I think, in Thailand, and in the intro they had like these like temple buildings, but the temples were supposed to be a bit controversial because the temples in my vision were representing, it was a combination, okay, so it was representing greed and fear. So you're here to sort of dismantle those temples of fear and greed, first in yourself, most definitely in yourself, every day, all the time, but then also in others. So since I've been really digging deep on this journey and listening to the inner voice, I've been re-educated about money, like greed, abundance, and learning how to distinguish and discern between all of those. Like, they're not the same thing. And people think like having lots of money is abundance. Having lots of money is not abundance. Usually having a lot of money is greed. Flow of resources is abundance. So there's a strong sense of, there's a difference between the two. If you chase money, you're on the hamster wheel of the system. If you follow abundance, you will be nourished. You will be replenished. You will rest well. You will eat well. You will be at peace. And people think they have to sell their souls to keep working their jobs, to pay their taxes so they have a house. That's just not true. So you are here to dismantle, the system. Another thing that came out of the White Lotus is, one of the themes for that was the monkeys. See no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil. So that's also part of your senses, your intuitive senses. You see truth, you hear truth, you speak truth. That's what you're here to do. So rather than focusing on like the evil, like people put so much energy into like trying to identify evil and, oh, that's evil, and it's like, okay. By the end of the day, it's about the truth. So yes, you want to know what's not working, what's the shadow, but it's more important that you learn what's light, because if you learn what is light, you won't have to worry about the shadow. And so many people live their life in fear of the shadow, not realizing that the light is here. It's always here. You got the sun. The sun is the biggest freaking graha in the sky, and it's a freaking light orb. Why would you worry about the dark? Why would you worry about the dark? The universe itself is like feminine in a sense. It birthed creation. So why are you afraid of it? It always birthed creation. It created you. It created you. Okay, so you're here your calling is to be receptive, to be perhaps a teacher. So hear the light, receptive, speak the light, teacher, or just be honest with people. See the light, visionary, or seer. So this is Kritika is a very intensely transformative nakshatra. You're going to go through bursts of transformations throughout your life. It's going to be quick done. It's almost like you go through things like quickly, you're just done with it and you're on to the next. The cool thing about Kritika, because it's a fiery nakshatra, is it moves on quickly. So it doesn't hold on to all this trauma and stuff. It kind of moves on. The downside of that is sometimes it moves on too quick without processing anything. But if you dedicate your life, devote your life to truth, you are going to learn how to process stuff. So this is an intense fiery purification. So don't worry about, external stuff like, oh, our bridge is going to be burned. Life is meant to be peaceful. So if there's any bridges that are burning, it's the false bridges in us. And the external life will dissolve peacefully, but internally the purification may be quite intense. You're going to be having quick revelations, right? Quick revelations, intense purification process. And then you get to the outcome. Okay, we move on. Okay. So let's go ahead and also, Kritika is connected to the Celestial University. So that means that you have a connection, the ability to connect to these other beautiful, abundant, unseen resources. We can't see it, but you have the ability to connect and learn about divine and how everything works on this earth, in the universe. Infinite access. You have an infinite access pass. Kritika is also maternal. It's very nourishing. So even in this show, the Korean drama, Han Hyo-ju's character, she was a mother. She was very nourishing. She was constantly feeding her son. And she had a restaurant. So you're a nourisher. You're here to eat well and help nourish other people too. Okay, let's see. We have here the Tower card. We have the Ace of Pentacles. And we have the Hermits. Okay. So your calling. So very creative. Kritika, it is connected to the Queen of Pentacles, so very creative energy is here. So you're definitely here to experience abundance and be very creative and share and proliferate, be fertile with ideas and experiences in your life. The Tower card means that's the transformative energy that you're experiencing. I was telling the other group that the Tower card usually reminds me more of a Mars in Scorpio or a Pluto in Scorpio, because it's like a deeply inner transformation here that's happening. But we do have this transformation energy connected with Aries. So I guess either way, Mars can give off this energy of powerful, intense transformations, rapid transformations. So that means that there's also a quick overturn, which is great. That means that, things kind of end quick and then they, new ground is established for new plants to grow. So think about don't they burn the trees or burn the ground in order to make the soil fresh again somewhere? I think someone does that. That's kind of what Kritika is. So we have the Hermit card as well. The Queen of Pentacles is also a boss lady. All right. So this is a person who is confident in their ability to know what their capabilities is. It means that you can produce abundance with anything. Wherever you are, you have the capabilities, the intellect, the skills to learn how to do anything that you set your mind to. We also got the Hermit, so there's a reference to Virgo with the Queen of Pentacles as well coming through. So this means that it's important for you to spend that time in solitude to self-reflect, to know your deeper inner truth and your inner self. This is also part of your calling, is to spend lots of time in self-reflection, to learn about yourself, to understand who you are. And you can also let go of any guilt or shame around being alone. There's being alone, there's loneliness and isolation versus solitude. Solitude is a personal choice, and it's a personal self-care choice that we help to welcome into our own lives so that we can find peace. And you'll learn pretty quickly that solitude does equal peace, because we're energetically connected to people. So if we're around people all the time, we don't have enough time to self-reflect or think or process everything that's going on. There's a lot going on in this human body. There's a lot going on all the time. So we need that time alone. The Hermit card also has a very inner rich imagination, inner rich life. So you have an inner rich imagination, inner rich life. You're also here to be a teacher and a light, right? The Hermit is also a teacher who carries the torch, who carries the light, so others can find their way. Yeah, and I think this also shows that you are comfortable with moving through the dark because you hold that lamp and you're comfortable with the mystery. So your calling is to embrace the mystery of life. Let's see what else wants to come through for you. Group number 2. We got fixed. I'll pull one more. And we have here Sagittarius. Nice. Yeah, so we were talking about, the pentacles and being stable. So your calling is to be a rock, to be solid, persistent, stable, loyal, dependable, right? And fixed on the truth, not stubbornly fixed on immature ways of operating, but stubbornly fixed on truth instead. Yeah, so be persistent, climb that mountain, right? He's walking through the snow, climb that mountain. Your calling is to be persistent with anything in life. And Queen of Pentacles are builders, right? In order to be a successful builder, you have to be persistent and stable. We have Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So Sagittarius is optimism, exploration, and freedom. Yeah, you're here to explore. You're here to have an adventure. So Sagittarius is very good for connecting to a teacher, living a life of inspiration, being an inspiration to other people, someone who's a lifelong learner, someone who could be maybe a writer or a consumer of knowledge or information, higher knowledge specifically. And with the arrow here is focusing on the good. So the arrow can represent a force of good facing evil or defeating evil. Force of good. So I'm seeing self-employment. I'm seeing entrepreneurs here. Oh, well. Looks like you guys have a lot more skills than you realize there. All the cards coming out. We have here Heart Guardian, love and let yourself be loved. So you're here to follow your heart. Your heart knows the way and it's guiding you. You're here to be love. I'll just say that because I'm redefining it like that, because I think when we get into this idea of like, oh, I need to give love or I need to receive love, then we usually think about relationships and that creates codependency. And I'm like, no, you are love. So if you just understand that, then you won't get so confused. I think it gets confusing when we're like, oh, how do I give love and receive love? And I'm like, we're just doing things, we're doing caring things, like acts of kindness when we're engaging with people, but love is what you are. So love doesn't end because you're not hugging someone or you're not holding their hand. There's a lot of expectations when it comes to relationships, and it creates a lot of confusion because people feel unloved when people aren't doing things. And I'm like, that's actually just transactional. Those are transactional actions where we're like essentially training people to behave a certain way so we can feel good, when really we should just be feeling good no matter what. That goodness that we feel has nothing to do with what someone does, but how we ourselves allow ourselves to feel. So you're here to connect to your passion, your heart, your inspiration, your creative energy, creative force with this Heart Guardian. Yeah, this energy feels very fun. It feels very youthful to me. I feel like you're here to have a very fun, very youthful life. Not so serious, Okay, let's pull. We have here the kiss. Ooh, romance. They're trying to get back at me for saying all that stuff about relationships. No, just kidding. So the kiss, this card is connected to like a moment of like connection. It's like a spark when something is ignited. And I definitely get that from Kritika with that Aries fire energy. But yeah, if you, in all the movies, the way they depict it, we can interpret the symbology of what a kiss means. That's contact you experience with someone for a first kiss, like that contact you experience with them, you exchange with them for the first time, where it's very personal, it's up close and personal. So I feel like this is something you're learning how to create with yourself. You're learning how to become up close and personal with yourself and develop that deeper sense of intimacy here. And this will help you to feel very comfortable with other forms of intimacy, of just connecting with people. But I just do not subscribe to programmed, behavioral, performative intimacy. I don't subscribe to that because I'm just like, we're beings, man. We're beings. Like intimacy, we have so many confusing definitions of what we think relationships should be like. And I'm like, unless you understand how to connect with yourself, a lot of the things that you think you need to do in relation to other people is performative. So rather than be performative, be transformative and be honest with yourself. Okay. Yeah, we got the crescent moon, and that's about like really like tuning into that inner sense of perception, right? So it's like the intimacy, sense perception. That's what I'm getting from that card. Tuning into your sense perception. Okay. We have here the rebel and the mystic. So your calling is to be rebellious and mystical. Live a magical, mystical life. So the mystic revels in intimate union. See, what was I talking about? Intimate union with the divine. The kiss. Revels in intimate union with the divine. Shadow attribute delusional rapport with the divine. So that means you think your guides told you to do this and do that and like move to Texas and I don't know, just whatever, random things. You'll be shocked. There's actually a lot less verbal communication that's happening. That's actually what I've learned is I'm like, I just live my life and actually I do a lot less personal readings for myself. And because I realized that the messages are in my life. They're in my life 24/7. So someone will just call me up and they'll be like, hey, do you want to do this thing? And I'll be like, oh yeah, sure. Like there's just little things that happen like that show me, that guide me. And I don't have to ask questions. And a lot of times people go and they ask astrologers or tarot readers, you know, how does this person feel about me? And I'm like, if you have to ask how someone feels about you, part of it might be because either you, one, aren't paying attention or using your senses to understand how that person feels. And part of it may be you don't need to know. You don't need to know. If you really need to know, they will tell you. Otherwise, or you would just sense it. Otherwise, we're usually just making up stories in our head about people. So I'm like, unless someone tells me something, I don't need to know it. And what I've learned, it's hard sometimes, but I've learned to let go of those delusional stories I make up in my head about people and how I think they feel about me and whatever. I'm like, it really isn't none of my business. Unless you tell me face to face, it really isn't any of my business how you feel about me. What is my business is how I feel about me and what I'm doing with my life. That's way more important than me needing to know how someone feels about me, because how someone feels about me doesn't change anything. It shouldn't change anything because I should be living life in my own truth. So, just saying. Okay, we have here rebel. Challenges authority to effect social change, rejects spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. Shadow attributes, rejects legitimate authority out of anger, rebels out of peer pressure or fashion. So let's talk about the shadow attribute. This is a lot of the protesting, right? Or I'm going to rebel against my parents because they told me to go to sleep early. Like some of that, you need that discipline. Like your parents are supposed to teach you that initial discipline. So we really need to tune in to understand what are we rebelling against. And the truth is we need to rebel against the systems, the matrix systems, like getting a job and making a lot of money and getting married just because everyone else is doing it. Like these are systems, programs that don't have nothing to do with your own health and true needs. Like, you know, people say, "Oh, I need this from you." I'm like, you don't need anything from them. Well, you don't need anything from that person. Well, I need you to do this. I'm like, you don't need them to do that. It would be nice, right? Let's be honest. It would be nice. Maybe if they did this or they did that for you. But to me, if someone doesn't just through their own admission just do it, then it's not in their nature. So it's just performative. Okay, there we go with that again. So yeah, don't just reject authority that's helping to guide you and inform you. That's that teenage angst of Ardra, Nakshatra, and Gemini. It's like, just because I don't agree with you, I'm going to rebel against you. Or rebels out of peer pressure. So peer pressure, your peers might tell you, hey, you should smoke, man, you should drink. You know what? That never happened to me. I was like, nah, I'm not doing that because I don't want it. I'm not getting in trouble. You can get in trouble. And guess what? I never got in trouble because I never did it. I didn't care. No, I waited till, someone an adult, I think, offered me a sip. And I was like, okay. And I didn't really care. But, I've never been a drinker like that, other than like the sip on New Year's, just because. But other than that, I'm like, why? I'm like, I don't like it. It tastes gross. Okay, so it says here, challenges authority to effect social change. So what you're rebelling is you're trying to be an advocate to help create change. So rebel to create actual change in you and reject the systems that don't serve your needs. Your number one need is to evolve. Your number one need is to evolve. So if it doesn't serve that, it doesn't serve you. Right? If working a 9 to 5 is keeping you from being able to tune into yourself, it's not serving you. You just got to think about the divine logic in all of it. All right, let me go ahead and roll the Astro dice to close out your reading. Oh, that was loud. Oh, look at that. System. Saturn, Capricorn. System. Sagittarius. Freedom. Okay. So, group number 2, to conclude your reading, your calling is to be a transformative, rebellious mystic who follows their heart and chooses freedom. So, what's going to be important? Saturn in the 10th house. So, 10th house is about systems and dharma and life purpose. Hold on, let me drink some water. What's interesting is that Han Hyo-ju, the Queen of Pentacles here, in the Oracle card design, she actually worked for a company or an organization. But you don't have to work for any of these companies because you work for the most important one of all. It's called God. The divine organization, Sagittarius. So your purpose is to follow your heart, to follow the truth. Wherever the arrow, see, Sagittarius is an arrow. Wherever the arrow is pointing to the truth, that's your purpose. That's your dharma. That's your pathway. That's the only organization you need to work for here. So this is a lifetime commitment for you. All the energy, work, determination, energy you're meant to put into life is meant to be divinely guided here with the Sagittarius. Also a knowledge seeker. So this is a truth seeker, a knowledge seeker. This is someone who enjoys learning, putting their head in the books. This is also someone who enjoys teaching, sharing that insight and that knowledge with others. And this is also someone with that Saturn who enjoys the natural pace of life. We're not rushing to live life. We are appreciating and soaking up the adventure every day. All right, that's what I'm seeing for you, group number 2. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like, subscribe to support, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hey, group number 3, welcome to your reading. So it looks like you guys chose the architect, Kelly Rowland, here. It's so funny because group number 1 looked like Jessica Alba, group number 2 looked like Han Hyo-ju, which I was originally trying to get it to look like Han Hyo-ju, and then I just kind of gave up, and then they gave me Han Hyo-ju in like the last one. I was like, finally! But you guys got Kelly Rowland, and you know what? We love us some Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child. Okay, so that must mean you're Destiny's Child, group number 3. So the first thing I was seeing was a hook. So I'll talk about my notes from the meditation, then we will reveal, well, actually I'll reveal the oracle card right now. And then we'll talk about, the nakshatra that inspired the oracle card design. We will reveal this. And then we will talk more about your oracle card design. So let's reveal the nakshatra. So you guys got 2 of Cups, and this is Ashwini. This is the first nakshatra from 0 to 13 degrees, 20 minutes, Aries. So this is ruled by Mars first, or K2. Yeah, it's ruled by K2, and then it has that support of Mars and Sun. Or, why did I write Sun? I don't know, maybe it does have an influence of Sun. I'm not entirely sure. It's supposed to be K2 and Mars. So from my notes, the first thing I was seeing was a hook. Many hooks, actually. So this was telling me, hold on. That was a message from Source. Part of your calling is to hold on. So that means that life refines you. And what I was seeing in this black obsidian here is that, you know, you're going to go through things that like create pressure in life, and it's going to create all of these sharp edges, but like a diamond, it's going to create this beautiful, immaculate, sparkly, interesting looking rock. Crystal here, black obsidian. So everything you're going through in life is to refine you. With Ashwini being your nakshatra and its connection to Ketu, there's a challenge of learning how to dissolve false illusions when it comes to the self. So when it comes to you and who you think you are here to let a lot of those illusions fall away, which is great because this group and this nakshatra is connected to letting go of all of those false societal expectations that don't serve you. So unlike most people who go through life who feel a pressure to become something and meet a certain expectation, this group, you're going to let all of that go. And that's going to free you to feel so free and carefree in life, as opposed to weighed down by life. You're going to feel a lot more liberated, a lot more free. Mars gives you energy, gives you enthusiasm, it gives you dynamic energy to ability to accomplish things. But Mars is also connected to technical skills. So our ability to be technical with our bodies, and so this can bless you with like technical abilities, especially with that K2 connection. That means that you could have a past life of having walked this path before, and you get to do it again, but maybe even more so in this lifetime, like let go of even more of those heavy layers so you feel even lighter. So you're actually like working backwards, you're aging backwards, you're Benjamin buttoning to the point where like you're really letting go of all of those pressures of life that were, you've held on to for lifetimes. Okay. The other thing I was saying, so endurance is important. You're here to learn endurance. And this also creates layers in a sense. Like with every wise experience you have more insight to yourself, a deeper layer that you've delved into within yourself about understanding who you are and what you are. So I was also seeing a hill and a point. It was taking me to infinite potential. So you have infinite potential to accomplish anything you set your mind to. Infinite potential to be whoever whatever you feel called to. So that means that there's no cap for you, group number 3. Whatever you set your mind to, you can do, you can accomplish it. But more importantly, whatever you set your mind on feeling, whatever your goal is, like, what do you want to feel? What do you want to experience? You'll get to do that inside of you. So the material world is more about doing things to feel a certain way. The rich interior world is about feeling and tuning in deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into those layers to feel all of those richness of layers within you to feel a certain way. So there's less need for an action, less need to do anything. It's more of a settling into your own skin. It's very nice. Ashwini can at times be a little bit restless because it wants to be active, it wants to be creating. So sometimes, there's a strong bubbliness and creative energy that comes shooting through you where you just want to like get active and do something and whatever in an evolved way. This is about tuning into yourself, tuning into being in your body. That Mars energy is like, let me just be in my body and like feel this and be so present for this moment. And it just gives me all the feels, or it just makes me feel so energized and invigorated just to be here, to be alive. I feel alive just being in my body. That's what I would say the statement is for Ashwini. So from the black obsidian, I was getting this blinding shine. So you guys are here to be a very bright fire. So we got Aries, Mars, and we got that K2 influence, which is also fire. So you guys are here to be a bright spark, fire in this world, very invigorated, very alive, which means that you're not here to take yourself so seriously and go through life just like, ugh. It's very Benjamin Button energy, like aging backwards. The other thing I was seeing, something about texture. So this took me to like downloads, took me to texture, wrinkles, and then software and integration. So I think that every experience that you're having in this lifetime, and all the experiences, it's like refining you and it's giving you more texture. So I guess, let me think of a metaphor and analogy. I guess when a rock is tumbling down a hill, it gets more texture, or just the diamond is really good for getting more texture. Or let's say if a sculptor is sculpting clay, when it's just a lump of clay, it's not as interesting, but when he starts to carve that clay, it becomes more and more interesting. And the more he carves into that clay, the more interesting it becomes. So that's you. But in some sense, you're becoming so texturized internally. And let's say internally you started as a cute little hut and now you're a freaking 5-story mansion with all of these interesting rooms and carpets and florals, I don't know, wallpaper. It becomes more and more interesting. You're like a maze. The other thing, I was getting a connection to being a pioneer, being an architect of the universe. Ashwini is connected to Brahma. Brahma is the architect of the universe. So that's you, group number 3. Architects are visionaries. So that means that they have a higher vision for understanding systems and how everything works and operates, which is really cool. But Ashwini, I think, would have a very fun connection to that, a fun way of approaching it. So this is about understanding systems, layers of systems, how they work and how they operate, And Aries to me gives me this energy of like effortlessly moving through systems or effortlessly evolving through systems as well. So whereas, an older computer software would take, 2 hours to update, you take like 5 minutes to update. So it's like quick. You integrate your software very quick. So that means you learn things quickly. Leadership, good instincts, movement, helpful. Ashwini has a connection to herbs and healing. It has a connection to Ganesh. Ganesh is the remover of all obstacles. So this means that there's not anything that you cannot handle. Group number 3. It's like, dang, I can, there are things you've gone through and you think, oh, this is going to be the worst. And then you get through it and you're like, I'm fine. So it seems like you always land on your feet in some sort of miraculous way and behavior. And look at this fire. That's your eternal flame that's burning inside of you. It's just bright, flickering, very alive. There's a lot of aliveness inside of you that you're here to experience. But Ganesh is also connected to this energy of being tough, innocence, and someone who's able to connect to supreme devotion. So this is someone who doesn't waver in their faith, who doesn't waver in their truth, who doesn't waver in their connection to source. They're just like, yes, I always have that connection. Looking at this architect oracle card design, so she has florals behind her. Look at that, florals in the house. But it looks like she's building her house, right? She's building her dream house. You know how as a kid you drew your dream house? Well, that's you, group number 3. You're building your dream house. You probably don't even know it. But everything that you've been working on for yourself has been uncovering all of these different rooms inside of you. And it's becoming more and more elaborate as you go through life experiences. And it's only going to get richer. Let me just let you guys know, with each passing day and year, your interior is going to get richer and richer, and people are going to look at you wondering, what are you doing that's making you like this? Why are you so eternally youthful? And you're going to be like, well, you know what? I've been working on my deeper layers of my interior, my internal mansion, and it has made me eternally youthful. And they're going to look at you and be like, huh? And that's what you tell them. Yes. So the architect, I think, is, very creative energy, but also infinitely curious too. It wants to know the mechanics of how things work. So I think that's you. You want to know the mechanics of how life works, and that's why you're infinitely curious. And that's why, where some people walk through life with this judgery of like, oh, I don't want to be here. You're walking through life like, come on, guys, let's have some fun. Like, this is fun. We get to make music. We get to connect with people, meet new people. We get to have adventures. We get to connect with ourselves. We get to whatever. There's so many things you can do, and I feel like that's you, group number 3. That's your calling, is to experience and embody infinite potentiality, infinite creativity. Okay, let's go ahead and pull some cards and see what else wants to come through. Okay. We got Judgments, Strength card, and Temperance. Ooh, you guys got 3. You guys got 3 major arcanas. Nice. And you get 2 of Cups here as well. Very nice. So big heart on fire. We love it. Very caring person and individual. So we were talking about this toughness. You guys your part of your calling is to go through experiences that reshape you and show you that you can handle anything, that you can endure and still remain eternally youthful, still remain so hopeful and optimistic about life. And through this, you're able to be an inspiration to other people. And part of that, the reason why you're able to endure and develop this strong foundation underneath yourself is because of this infinity sign here. It's because you're connected to this infinite source. Because you're connected to that infinite source, things don't age you as much as they would age majority of the population, because you're just like, yeah, you just learn. And every time you go through something, you actually upgrade, you up level even more, and you age backwards. Yeah, so this has also taught you how to tame. So maybe you've had issues with like temper, anger. Ashwini, a fire sign, Aries at that would be quite impulsive, and have some anger issues. So maybe you've had to learn how to tame your anger issues. And part of your calling is in this lifetime is you're learning how to develop your emotions and become more mature with that. So as opposed to being like erratic and feeling like, the good thing is that you have this eternally youthful energy, which helps you to stay invigorated, constantly invigorated and ignited and passionate about life. The only issue here is that sometimes the emotional stability can be challenging, right? Because we're feeling a lot of different things. So you're here to learn emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, learn how to master your emotions, even in spite of tough circumstances. So you might feel that you're quite emotional, but you're yet an old soul. It's like a new soul, old soul mix. So it's like, okay, I can be quite emotional, but yet I have this wisdom. And that's because part of it is you're learning how to integrate these different emotional abilities inside of you. So you're not going to walk through life like super detached and just, I don't know, you know how some of the spiritual teachers are super detached? Well, that was their dharma. Your dharma is to feel, right? You're here to be passionate about life. You're here to feel things. You're here to have emotions, while exercising a healthy detachment through those experiences. So yes, you're going to have to learn how to create harmony and balance with yourself at every turn. Learn how to be patient as well. You know, Aries can be quite impulsive, so you're going to have to learn how to be patient with yourself, patient with the circumstances, patient with the timing. And then we have Judgment. So this is about that bigger rebirth, connection to divine. Yeah, I would say, we got two angels here. You definitely feel a strong devotion to Source, where you're excited to be committed to Source. You're excited to share the knowledge of divine, and you're excited to be a part of it, which is wonderful. So stay committed to that, because you're going to need that for your entire journey. And you're also here to celebrate. You're here to be a part of this awakening, enlivening experience that's happening all across the lifetimes and the earth as well. And bring life to earth is what I'm hearing as well. Okay. Yeah, so we have emotional maturity. We have here Cancer energy, nurture, comfort, and protection. So you're here to learn about your emotions. It's part of your calling, is to understand how do emotions work and how do we feel that. That initial Cancer energy, the emotions can be quite explosive. So you might feel at times, you feel a lot of things, you be quite sensitive. And that's on purpose. That is on purpose. You are made that way, for sure. I'm hearing rebranding. What? Okay. Probably connection to Purnavasu coming through here. But yeah, it's because you have this ability to emotionally refresh yourself. So that means that, how would I speak to this? It's like you feel a lot of emotions, feel a lot, and then decompress. Feel a lot, decompress. It's kind of what I'm hearing. But yes, you're here to learn how to manage your emotions, regulate in healthy ways, regulate your emotions in healthy ways as well. See what else wants to come through for you guys. Oh look, see what was I saying? Old soul and young soul. We got elder, move beyond ancestral patterns. We have here sage, be devoted and committed. Yeah, so you're old soul, new soul, all in one. You got the whole spectrum. There's this internally very wise energy inside of you with that K2 connection and Ashwini, deeply spiritual, wise energy that is happy to be devoted and committed and to, be on that path of Dharma. And yes, you're definitely here to move beyond whatever those ancestral patterns. So a lot of the emotions, part of the emotions that you're experiencing are embedded in your DNA. So you're here to help heal those ancestral patterns and purify that energy. It's almost like, how Source plants us sometimes. They plant us in certain family dynamics because they're like, okay, you can do a little cleanse work here. You can do a little cleanse work in this family, in this area. So you're here to be a bit of a cleanser in your family tree, so to speak. So very wise. You're also here to learn, take notes, be like, oh, okay, this is how human emotions work. Oh, I got it. That's what I'm getting. I feel like I'm hearing that you've had past lifetimes where you've been detached before and you've done that work. You've meditated on the mountain, you've been the Buddha, you've been the monk, you've been the nun, but in this lifetime, you're taking the opportunity to be like a normal, like a person who's integrated into normal life and who gets to be a purifier from that space and place. And it's really connecting you to your heart and helping to cleanse and purify that. Oh, hi. Yeah, and okay, I was gonna say that's a different one. Well, if you're the nectar, yes. So your calling is to. There might also be a connection to wanting to teach, but I'm getting I'm getting a strong solo journey here. I'm picking up a strong solo journey, as in like you're here to kind of experience. Then you can share it in a very creative way if you want to, with other people. But I'm hearing that you're here to experience it mainly. With that nectar energy, you're here to connect with the honey of life. So it's like beyond the bitterness of life, when we get to the core, there's like the sweet, sweet, sweet honey that is always there. So you are like a divine worker bee who is able to always find the nectar no matter where you go. You're able to find the sweetest honey, the sweetest pollen. I don't know if I'm describing that right, but you're here to find the sweetest nectar that's available on the flowers and develop it as well. You are the flower and you're developing your own inner richness as well. Okay, we have here rescuer and we have your servant. So servant is here to be of service to divine, here to be of service for sure. Delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. Yes, connected to the heart. Yep, heart on fire. So you're here to be of service to people in any way that you feel called to be of service. So whatever feels natural for you, don't force anything. Don't try to pretend, like don't perform service. Feel with your heart, feel with your intuition what feels right and let it unfold naturally. Don't force it. Don't force this. Delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. The shadow attribute is using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. Being of service means also letting go of those expectations maybe you have around what you're going to get back in exchange. So instead, just focus on what can you do, how you can help, how you can be of service, as opposed to, oh, what am I going to get back? We got to let go of those expectations, because if you are of service to the divine and the divine uses you to help people in any way, shape, or form, then the natural law is that it will come back to you no matter what. So you don't have to worry about that. Plus, if you already know that, right? If you have this sage way about you, you already know that. You've already experienced it, so you don't need proof of it. It's like, is it going to come back to me? It's been coming back to you your entire life. I can tell you from this reading, it's already been coming back to you. So it's about paying attention to the details and really recognizing how things already are operating beautifully, abundantly for you. So we have here the rescuer archetype. Provides strength and support to others in crisis, acts out of love with no expectation of reward. Shadow attribute assumes that the rescued will reciprocate, keeps the rescued one needy. Yeah, so as opposed to assuming people will reciprocate, if you do things for them, you help them because you feel called to, not because you're receiving a reward or a trophy or some kind of recognition for doing it. We just do it. I remember there was a time when I was a junior police officer in 3rd grade. I loved it. I had fun. We would hold stop signs and help people cross the street, and we would do the flag. We would fold the flag and play the what's it called? The national anthem every morning. We would do like little exercises. It was fun. I liked it. And there was a time where I decided to go pick up trash. There's a bunch of like litter in front of the school. So I had me and my other junior police officers pick up trash. And one of the girls said, you should go tell Mr. Date, he's our teacher, you should go tell him what you did. And I was like, why would I do that? I'm like, I'm just doing what needs to be done. But it was weird because when I finished school there in 5th grade as a junior police officer, I received an award for the most outstanding JPO, and I was shocked. I was like, huh? But throughout the year, Mr. Date, he was Japanese, Mr. Date would always include me in things. He would give me like the little goodie bags that the captains would get. I didn't get to captain, but I was lieutenant. But the captains usually got all of this like privilege and all this stuff going on, but he would include me in it. So I'm like, it was things like that just reminded me that things always come back. So I'm not ever worried about if it's going to come back to me. Things always come back, and we just have to let go of that, fixation. But the rescuer, this means that you have a big heart, group number 3, and this means that, you really just want to help people because it just feels right. So do it in a way that feels the most natural to you. And the crisis, the number one crisis we're experiencing is a spiritual one. It's a spiritual crisis. We can be helpful in other practical ways, but this is a spiritual war, okay? We're in the midst, every time in this matrix, we're always in the midst of a spiritual war. That is the crisis. We are here to help people. We're here to help people empower themselves so that they learn that they have the intuition and the abilities to overcome anything. We don't have to get so literal with needing to save people. We need to teach people how to save themselves. That's the best thing you can do, is teach people how to feed themselves, how to take care of themselves, how to truly nourish themselves by feeding off of the light. Then they will truly be free. Let's roll the Astro Dice to close out the reading. We have here Rahu, Capricorn in the 1st house. Nice. So strong Aries energy repeating throughout. And also Mars is exalted in that Capricorn energy. So we're getting a bit of that echoing with this. So Rahu is it's the yang energy. It's like what you really feel called to do, your dharma, what you feel connected to. And it's strongly connected to thyself. And with that Capricorn energy, this is about endurance. This is about building yourself up. This is about the commitment and devotion, over a long period of time that we commit to. So your calling is to commit to yourself, to build yourself here. And through building yourself through the divine system, which is Capricorn is about systems, but through building yourself through the divine system, which is what Ashwini is, you'll be able to then help be a pillar for other people and be an inspiration for them to also give to themselves, take care of themselves. That is what I'm seeing. So focus on taking care and replenishing yourself, and you can be an inspiration for others to do the same. I hope you enjoyed that group number 3. Like, subscribe to support, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.